Is it normal to feel fear before every fight? Also, how important is to have confidence? If you want my take on these two related subjects, stay tuned and watch this short video. If you want to master MMA fundamentals, check out my instructional called MMA Essential Lessons. In it you can learn about clinch takedowns, boxing, grappling, Muay Thai, ground and pound, Thai and puppet master clinch, escapes from inferior positions, and shooting takedowns. Check out the link in the description below. Hi, my name is Mark Leichner from MMAcoach.net, where we teach coaches, fighters and enthusiasts how to train smart and not just hard. Today, we're exploring fear and confidence. First, let's hear some words of fighting wisdom from one of my most favorite fighters, George St-Pierre.
People sometimes they say, "Oh, are you afraid? That's why you don't want to fight this guy. Are you afraid to fight this guy?" I'm like, I would be afraid to fight everybody, even if it's a midget of standing. I would be afraid. I would be afraid. What do I if I fall? What happened if he's stronger than I thought he is, and I make a mistake and I'm always afraid. But being afraid, it's an irrelevant question. It's relevant for the general public that doesn't understand the mind of a fighter. But if you're a fighter and you know you're going to fight afraid, it's the question of are you afraid? It's irrelevant. Being afraid, it's something that can go bad or something that can go well for me. It could be bad if the fear make me lack confidence. However, if I'm very afraid, that make me more focused. That is so important. That is happening right now because I'm afraid. I need to be sharp. It make me work harder, be trained with the fear that my opponent is training harder than me. Now then, the fear is a good thing. So when I fight, I know I'm afraid. And I always thought of myself when I was younger, I was like, oh, is the fear will disappear at one point? And I thought it would, but it never did. And the opposite happened because every fight got bigger and bigger. So I was more and more afraid. However, one thing I changed is that I've learned how to deal with it better with my experience. And I know now that it is normal to be afraid. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm afraid. Like a lot of fighters are, yeah, I'm not afraid. No, I'm afraid. I'll be afraid. Even if I fight him. If I fight everybody, I'll be afraid. But it's irrelevant. Because no matter if I'm afraid or not, when it's going to be time to walk the walk and do my job, I will do it, regardless.
This is just one of the reasons he's one of my most favorite fighters. Not only is he a great combat athlete, he is also very self-reflective, which is so important if you want to improve in anything. There are two takeaways here. The first one is that it is normal being afraid, and it can actually help you if you don't let it overwhelm you. And the second one is that fear never goes away. You just learn to deal with it in time. GSP is one of the rare fighters who openly admits that he's afraid, and that is one of his biggest strengths. More on that later. Don't worry if you're afraid, just learn how to deal with it. And how do we do that? First, let's hear what he has to say about confidence.
People ask me sometimes, when is the most important thing for an athlete? And or a performer, or I guess it's one of the most important thing when you're about to do something. It could be in your professional work, your field of work, but for an athlete, confidence is very important. One of my coach, John Denner, who's actually from New Zealand, is my one of my main coach. He says to me, George, confidence and skills are the two most important things, but they go along with each other. If you got the skills, but you don't have the confidence, it's like having money in your bank account and not be able to spend it. Also, if you got the confidence, but you don't have the skills, it's the same thing as having a dream, but never have the tools to be able to reach it. So if you want to do something and be successful in life, especially in sport, especially in fighting sport, in full contact sport, you need to have the confidence and have the skills. Skills, it's a combination of many things. You need to be born athletic, be born a certain way. If I would have been born with a certain handicap, maybe I would have not been able to be world champion. I'm a good athlete. I work hard, of course. I met the right people at the right time. I've learned. I put dedication, so I learned my skills. But the confidence, sometimes people think confidence is just a natural thing. It's not. It's really not. There is different ways on working on your confidence. Because every time I go fight in the octagon, every title fight that I had many doubts. I was afraid. I had lack of confidence. But I found myself some tools to building up my own confidence. And like I said, when you have the confidence and the skills, that's when the magic can happen.
Confidence means fully trusting your abilities. If that is lacking, then your performance will not be optimal. It is important to mention that confidence and abilities are not always separate. One of the ways you can gain confidence is with the gradual development of your abilities. So true confidence comes from competence in something. If that is not enough, like in GSP's case, then there are certain tools that you can use to boost your confidence and manage fear. That might mean working with a mental coach or reading books on that subject. One of the most important books that I can recommend is Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Check out the link in the description, and you can also watch this video here where I mention it. I have put together an ebook called Mental Training for MMA 2.0, A Fighter's Guide to Mental Toughness, and it can help you with your mental game. Currently it's being updated, so it's not available at the time of making this video, but you can check back later to see if it's out. I have been GSP's fan for a long time, and I cannot praise this man enough. He openly talks about his vulnerabilities, and that's one of his biggest strengths. MMA is often a world of adolescent strutting and chest beating, so this is very refreshing. One of the missing links that nobody talks about when it comes to confidence is accepting one's own vulnerability, or even showing it like GSP, and making peace with the possibility of loss, which is always looming. That is true confidence. Many MMA champions use ground and pound as their go-to strategy. If you want to learn how to do it properly, check out my Total Ground and Pound Blueprint instructional. The link is in the description. How do you deal with fear before competition? Do you think you're confident enough, or do you lack it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like it and share it, and you can also subscribe to my channel. And if you like a more in-depth MMA training, check out my instructionals. My name is Mark Leichner from MMAcoach.net, and I will see you again very soon.